Hi there, welcome to the Shoo Rayner Drawing School, and today I'm going to show you how to draw these Fly Agaric mushrooms, like the kind you get in fairy tales and things like that. But let's not talk about it, let's do it! How amazing, I'm sitting back at my desk again. Now I'm going to draw you, what am I going to do? I'm going to draw you these two things. So we're going to want a kind of an oval. Something like that, which I hope you can see. That's very rough. And then we're going to want more of a kind of a roundish shape there. I'm doing this very, very lightly. And then we're going to want the kind of the stalk, that's the word I'm looking for, coming down like that. And we'll just have it coming out of rubbish like that. Okay, well I hope you can see that, because it's I've drawn this very, very light, because what we need to do is to draw all these little lumpy bits first, and just draw them really irregular. And what I'm doing is I'm drawing them right on the outside, so you've got them right on the edge of the mushroom like that, and then you can draw the rest of the mushroom in much more clearly on top like that, but the kind of the edge, because these are kind of on the top, so you want them to be obviously on top. What am I trying to say? I don't know. I hope it makes sense. I think, yeah, it's probably easy to do kind of a voiceover and explain what you're doing afterwards. I don't know, but anyway. So you just want to kind of draw all these little blobby bits on the top like that. And the same is going to go with this one here. So I'm going to draw little blobby bits on the outside. So this is the kind of the baby mushroom as it's bursting through the ground, and we probably want some of them just kind of coming around into view like that, and then that will go around there like that. And the reason I'm drawing these was because I came across some the other day on a walk in the forest, and I went back to photograph them yesterday, and they were all kind of dying and rotting and chewed up. And so it's a real lesson there, is you just got to take your chances when you can. And I should have filmed them when they were nice and fresh, but I just don't think I had my camera with me at the time, which is unusual. And then I tried doing it yesterday, but I got the camera settings all wrong, and they wouldn't have been very pretty anyway. So this mushroom has a skirt, kind of a skirt on its stalk there. I'm sure it has a technical term for it, and I'm sure somebody will mention it in the comments below. Eventually someone will go, oh yeah, I'm a mushroom expert, I'm a fun guy. You know that joke, don't you? What do you call, I can't even remember it now. Yeah. Did you hear about the mushroom expert at the party? He was a real fun guy. Ah ha ha ha. So that's kind of it drawn. I'm just going to switch off for a moment while I change batteries and get it set up for painting. Back in a moment. Alright, well I'm going to start off with what's my favourite colour, which is called Naples Yellow. You can probably hardly see that. It's a very pale, it's a creamy kind of colour. And I'm just going to wash that into there. And then maybe I'll put a little bit of burnt sienna and a bit of sepia kind of mixed together. I'll just drop that in underneath there like that. So that'll be kind of the shadow underneath that the head of the toadstool is kind of dropping down onto the. It's actually quite a pale stalk. Okay, so you don't want to make it very dark. And I'll just drop a bit down the side there. There we go. And I'll just dry this quickly. There we go. I probably speeded that up, the guy, I think. And then what we need to do, I think what I'm going to do next actually is I'm going to just get some really messy, darker kind of colours and see if I can show you what I'm doing here. This is my old Winsor & Newton paint set I've had for years and years and years and years. I bought this, I think my second week at art college many years ago. Too many to mention. So I'm going to do this in a very dark brown, and I'm just going to fill this in, and then this really dark background will make the stalks stand out, and then we'll just so I'm just make it really. This is kind of the soil and the fallen leaves, because it's autumn time when you get these, and the Fly Agarics fruiting like this, and so you're going to get this dirty kind of autumn soil with leaves and mess. And then I'm just going to drop in a bit of stronger colour on the top, maybe a bit like that, follow it around the back, kind of like that, and a bit of dark sepia coming in like that, just to give it a bit of body like that. And again, I think it's time to dry, so I'll be back in a moment. I scared the life out of myself. I had this water bottle just next to me, and then the hot air went and made it go crack as it was expanding in the heat. It just scared the pants out of me. So anyway, here I am back. Right, where was I? Let's get this. I'm going to do a little bit more down here, and just put some kind of splodges, and just to give it a bit of texture really, and come in behind there and behind, and then again that will need drying. I'm afraid the drying business is all a bit boring really, but it kind of has to be done with watercolour. I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it because this might be your first video that you've watched of mine. Is watercolour is all about the light is coming through from the paper, right? I'm just going to put some kind of greens and things in there just to make it a bit more interesting. The light is coming through from the paper, so the white of the paper is your brightest light source, and what you're doing with the paint is kind of putting filters, coloured filters over the top, like you might do with a camera, and so if you are what am I trying to say? If you're putting if it's wet and you put new colour in, it's just going to spread. Whereas if you let it dry and then you put new colour on the top, then you're going to get it as like a new filter on the top. So you're going to get the benefit of both colours, filtered colours. Does that make sense? So sometimes you want your you want to add colour while it's wet, and sometimes you want to add it while it's dark. Now I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to clean all that out like that, because now I'm going to want to start doing something with the reds up on the top there. And actually I think because they're not exactly entirely white, these things, what I'm going to do is, before I put any red in, I'm going to kind of it's almost like a shadow along one side of these spots. And again, I'm using Naples yellow, but I've added a tiny bit of sepia to it just to darken it up a bit. And I'm not painting the whole thing, I'm just kind of painting down one side and towards the bottom, so it's kind of like a shadow. But if I try to do this later when it's painted red, then the red might bleed into it. So you want to you need to think ahead sometimes, and it's just experience that lets you know when to do these things. I'll just dry this now. Right now, where am I? Chucking things on the floor to get them out of the way. If you've ever seen my video how I work, I've got a thing saying how I set my camera up. You'll see just how cramped I am here. And now what I'm using here is, this is vermilion, but I'm going to add some yellow, and I've no idea which colour yellow this is, so that's quite orange. And then I'm going to add in a bit of what is that one? Oh, I haven't been at my colours for such a long time. It'll come back to me. It's the one with them made out of spiders. Carmine, I think, is it? So now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add quite a little bit of water to this here, and I'm going to start painting like that. You've got to go around the little white spots, and you've got to keep the paint, oh, I've gone over it there, you see, but you've got to keep it on the move. And while I can, and that's still there, I'm going to take all the colour off my brush, and I'm going to put a blob of water in the middle like that, and just kind of work it around, so that this is kind of the palest part, so you're getting a bit of reflection of light coming off there like that. Okay, and now I can probably make this a bit darker, and so I'm just taking the colour as it is in my watercolour, and I'm as ever rushing, and I'm not working under the best conditions, but anyway, a bad workman blames their tools, don't they? So I feel the pressure of having to fit this all in the timer of a video, and I haven't got my colours, I haven't got my camera sorted so that I'm at an angle, because normally I would be drawing and painting with my board at an angle, but this is absolutely flat, and it's quite good to have it at an angle because the colour kind of drains down the page then, whereas this is just sort of sitting flat. But maybe I can use that to my advantage, I don't know. And I've gone over it there again. It's because I can hardly see my paintbrush actually. I'm looking at it in the camera, actually that's quite nice. Now when I look at it in the camera, it always looks better than when I'm close up to it. So I'm kind of going around, and it's kind of what I'm trying to do is to do it fast enough that all the paint here is still wet, because I'm going to want to drop more colour into it. So I've got it quite pale over there, and now this is carmine, which is a much darker purpley kind of red, and I'm going to start dropping this into here to make this so it's kind of spreading, the colour is spreading and getting more intense over to this side, because the light source is up here. Okay, and how is that looking? It's looking quite nice in the camera. And then I'm going to dry my brush, take the colour off it, and kind of wash back to there so that it doesn't get too intense. And now I have to go back again and do that like that. And I think round here we want to have it quite dark, so I'm going along the edge. So I'm going to redo that with some pretty intense colour like that. Good. How's that looking? That's looking quite nice. And I'm going to do the same kind of thing over here. In fact, I'm going to start off by putting a blob. Oh, it's just kind of wet pinky kind of colour around like that, and then that can all kind of bleed into it like that, and then I'll take that around there. And I've no idea how long this is going to take. Well, I thought this was going to be a really quick one actually, but I think the drawing was really quick, wasn't it? And there's quite a lot of drying going on with my trusty hairdryer. And now I'm making this much darker around here. See, perhaps I'm spending too long because I'm doing 2 mushrooms rather than 1, but I think you want to know the difference between them and the kind of difference in shapes. And so, if you're interested in mushrooms at all, I don't know, why am I doing this video? Because, well, I don't know, I suppose because a lot of people, when they think of children's book illustrations, then they think of fairy tales, and these are the mushrooms that you get in fairy tales. So if you want to be illustrating fairy tales and things like that, you probably want to be putting Fly Agaric mushrooms in them, don't you? Because that's just the kind of the classic image, I think. And they're quite Christmassy as well, aren't they? Because oh, that's an email. I think the whole thing about Santa's outfit, his red and white outfit, is all kind of supposed to be based on these mushrooms, and how they grow them and eat them in the north in the dark in the winter, because they didn't used to get television up there, so they would eat these magic mushrooms and see pictures and they would imagine Santa coming down the chimney or something like that. I'm not quite sure whether that's true, but Santa's red and white outfit is supposed to be based on these mushrooms. There we are, that's looking quite pretty. Now I'm just going to do a little bit more drying. Okay, and the reason I want it dry is because the kind of last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bit of this red, and what shall I do? I'll just add a little bit of dark blue to it just to make it a bit purpley, and I'm just going to put little bits of shade on there just to kind of make that, helps to make them stand out above the so that they look like they're blobs rather than spots, if that makes sense. So a little bit of shade, just kind of like that, we'll just kind of add that extra little bit of life to it, and then we want to add, I think we need a little something else. I think we need some more shade underneath here. We need it to be kind of like that, and again under here. So they're kind of quite, I think that's probably a bit too dark, but too obvious. And we need some kind of lines in there just to make them look, give a bit of texture to it. See, at the end of my paintbrush is getting caught on the lights. It's not easy working. And what am I going to do? I'm going to put a bit more shade around there, like that, where the cap of the mushroom is kind of casting a bit of shade, and then that a bit of darkness helps to bring out the whiteness of the stalk, like that, which still looks like it needs a bit more darkness. So I'm gonna pop that in there, like that. I think that's probably ruined it now. There comes a point where, with watercolour, often people have asked me this: how do you know when it's finished? finished. Well, it's finished at the moment just before you ruin it, okay? Which is probably what I've done by adding a bit too much shade there. It looks alright in the camera. I'm going to call that it. Okay, well this has been Shoo Rayner on the Shoo Rayner drawing channel. And I hope you enjoyed that. Keep coming back to the Shoo Rayner drawing channel on YouTube. And for goodness sake, don't forget to subscribe, because you'll get more, you get to know all about the videos. And down here as well, you can like this if you liked it. And that all helps me and my channel. So please subscribe, please like this video, and what can I say but keep on drawing, keep practicing, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.